Even though I don't play strictly mage builds, I always love getting new spells. Something to have me rethink my skills, have me focus on the schools of magic that I might not use as much. Skyrim's magic system has plenty of room for improvement, and as luck would have it, there's a new mod to address that. Today, we're taking a look at a mod that aims to increase the amount of spells by a significant amount, giving us over 115 new, balanced, lore-friendly spells across all 5 schools of magic, along with scrolls and staves of these new spells as well, with new visual and sound effects, and integrated into the game so that you'll find these out in the world, at vendors, and so on. This is Lost Grimoire for Skyrim Special Edition by Steelfeathers. This serves as a complete remake of their original spell pack for Skyrim Legendary Edition. Everything you'll see has been remade from the ground up, with the goal being to give players the best Magicka experience possible, with one of the most unique offerings in the mod being the polymorph spells, in which you can transform into various creatures, from a fox to a horse to a snow bear. Today I'll be showing you many of the new spells included, and show them in action as well. A big thank you to Steelfeathers for getting me an early copy of the mod as they got ready for the official release. Lost Grimoire is available now, and the link can be found in the description below. I won't be going over every spell in this pack, mainly because showing off 115 new spells would take forever, but the goal for today is to highlight some of the standout ones, going through some of the additions for each and every school of magic. Some schools might get a little more love than others, but it's really just based on what grabbed me the most. And keep in mind that this adds new spells at every tier as well, meaning that you'll have new spells to try out, from the lowly novice level all the way to master level, assuming that you've completed the master quest for the associated school, of course. After installing Lost Grimoire, I got a little message in the corner confirming that the mod was running properly, and then I headed to the College of Winterhold, and found that the different teachers had the new tomes for their associated school. To begin, let's take a look at Alteration. The first of the novice spells to catch my eye was Unlock, a spell type that we had in previous games. This serves as an all-in-one spell, as it'll be able to unlock increasingly hard level locks based on your Alteration level, rather than having to buy and learn stronger versions of the spell for harder locks. At Alteration level 100, you'll obviously be able to unlock anything. But I also reset my Alteration to 15 just to test it out, and at that point I was only able to open novice locks. And even then, it took a few attempts before successfully doing so. The second novice spell here is Extract Ore, meaning that you no longer need to carry a pickaxe on you. Much like the unlock spell, this scales with your skill, meaning that you'll pull more ore and gems as you level your Alteration. At a base Alteration of 15, I'd pull 2 ore and maybe 1 gem. At Alteration 100, I would get 5 ore and at least 2 gems. The amount of ore was consistent, regardless of if it was iron, orichalk, or ebony. And yes, it works on Stalrim too. Moving on to Apprentice, we have Force Wave, which deals 15 points of damage and can stagger enemies. The stagger isn't a guarantee, and keep in mind this is an early level spell, so it can be helpful, but on its own it might not be enough to take on multiple enemies. There's a few spells with this new type of kinetic damage. This just serves as the starter spell. After this, we have Switcheroo, and you'll see there's a few teleport-related spells in this pack. With Switcheroo, you can swap places with a target, be it a friend, a foe, or even a corpse. So you can use it to split up a group of enemies, getting closer to a group, or simply use it to get around more easily. And for a dual-purpose spell, we have Featherlight. When cast, you can both walk on water and fall slower, negating any and all fall damage for the 30-second duration of the spell. I tried it out both at the College of Winterhold and at the Throat of the World, so if you've ever wanted to get from the top of the mountain to Iverstead in 30 seconds, this is the spell for you. Now, onto the Adept spells. This is where we first start to see the polymorph spell types, in which you can transform into different creatures. At Adept, the options include Fox, Wolf, and Bristleback. Each animal has its own skills in combat. For instance, the Wolf allows you to summon nearby wolves, and the Bristleback's jump attack is a lunge that can knock targets down. Guards won't recognize you at all in a transformed state, so you won't get a bounty in animal form. I did notice that no one seemed to be hostile to me, even when I initiated the attack, so I wound up killing a good chunk of Riverwood without any consequences. Moving on, we have teleportation, which is as straightforward as it sounds. There is a range on it, but it's great for scaling mountains or getting the drop on some unsuspecting enemies. Magic Barrier creates a magical shield around you, which lasts for 60 seconds and prevents anything from passing through. This is great if you need some time to heal up while in the midst of battle. The first expert level alteration spell to catch my eye was Dimensional Door. This is a higher cost spell, and understandably so. With this, you can create linked portals that will take you between any 2 points. Cast the spell with one hand to set the first location, and cast with the other to set the second one. These doors will last for 3 days after being set. And acting as an upgrade to the earlier Force Wave, we have Concussive Blast, dealing 60 damage with a much higher chance to stagger. And as a master level version of the kinetic damage type, we have Earthquake, creating a large area of effect around the caster, dealing 200 damage and flinging enemies away. I found that the safest way to use this was to cast Magic Barrier and then charge it up within the safety of my bubble. And speaking of safety, that brings us to Pocket Dimension, in which you'll be brought to a magical sanctuary, complete with a bed, chests, and almost every crafting station, including a staff enchanter and an oven. You'll be able to stay here as long as you like, and when you're ready to leave, simply use the magical orb to return to where you last were in Tamriel. Our second school of magic is Illusion. The novice spell Astral Projection allows the caster to become a spirit for 15 seconds, detached from their body and completely invisible to all. You won't be able to open doors or pick anything up, but you can still knock stuff around. And at the end of the 15 seconds, you'll return to your body. This is great for stealth characters trying to scope an area out. Disorient is another novice level spell, lasting for 15 seconds and causing the affected target to occasionally stagger. Essentially, you're just getting them drunk. Its low cost means you can easily cast this on multiple enemies at once, making it so archers can't get their attacks off and sword-wielding bandits will have some more trouble reaching you. Psychic Pain is an apprentice level spell, with the target losing 3% of their maximum health whenever they attack or cast a spell, letting them slowly weaken themselves as they try to attack you. Making a return from previous Elder Scrolls games is Silence, which I really missed. This dispels any active effects on the target, and makes them incapable of casting spells for the next 6 seconds. It's great for interrupting enemies, but you don't realize just how quickly 6 seconds goes by. Given that it's an adept level spell, I almost wish that it lasted a little longer. Exhaust serves as a nice complement to Silence, which staggers the target on hit and drains all their stamina, and having them move and attack slower by 30% for the next 12 seconds. Psychic Scream is an expert level spell. Casting it sends a blast of magic damage to nearby enemies, the amount of which is equal to your missing health. This becomes a bit of a risk-reward situation if you really want to get the most damage out of it, and I found it to be a lot of fun. Glamour comes in as one of our master level spells, with the ability to disguise yourself by casting the spell on a corpse. The effect will last for a full 2 minutes, during which time you'll trick others into believing that you're their ally. And this has to be cast while you're out of combat. While the spell is active, you'll have a blue glow around you, and attacking enemies won't disrupt the effect at all. The bandits didn't even seem to mind that I was attacking them. But once the spell lifts, they'll immediately notice and turn hostile again. Destruction focuses on new spells on the damage types that we're already familiar with: Frost, Shock, and Flame, with 3 new novice spells that deal additional damage if you're undetected, these being Flare, Icicle, and Zap. Crackling Static is a new apprentice destruction spell, in which the target becomes electrified for 15 seconds, dealing 7 shock damage every 3 seconds, or every 2 seconds should the target be wearing metal armor, or if they're made of metal, such as dwarven automatons. Salamander Scales acts as a play on Flame Cloak, in which you gain 50% fire resistance and absorb 30% of magicka from enemy fire spells. And more importantly, you get to see this really cool scale effect for its duration. Firebomb is an adept level destruction spell, in which your target becomes a walking bomb, exploding for 75 damage in a 15-foot radius after 10 seconds. You do need to get right up to the target for this though. Among the adept spells is Create Firebrand, summoning a powerful flame sword that releases a wave of fire with power attacks. Hellfire is an expert level spell, in which you cast a ball of green flame that sets the target ablaze, leaving a trail of fire after them for 15 seconds. Targets below half health will flee in terror, while targets above half health will frenzy and attack anything nearby. I really liked how bright the effect and trail were. Frostburst Crystal is an expert spell, in which you create a cluster of ice crystals, which can be destroyed by attacking them. Each crystal will deal 80 damage when it explodes, and they can be chained together for additional damage. Dragonfire comes in as a master level spell, in which you cast a powerful gout of fire, dealing 75 damage per second, with targets on fire taking extra damage. Flameheart has you summon a flaming horse to fight alongside you. You can even ride them if you like, with the spirit exploding when its 30-second summon time is up. And these are just 2 of the 6 new master level destruction spells. The new Conjuration spells help to give us some more options, with new familiar types like direwolves, sabercats, bears, and more. Each comes with its own unique buff, such as the bear, granting extra armor while summoned. There's also a few new Grimoire, such as the Berserker, who grows stronger as he loses health, or the Grimoire Sorceress, who can summon her own flame Atranax in battle. And there's some new unique bound equipment spells, like the apprentice level bound shield. Bashing with this will cast Soul Trap if you have the Soul Stealer perk, and it can banish Conjured Daedra and Undead if you have the Oblivion Binding perk. Bound Staff comes in as an adept level spell, and does damage based on your Conjuration skill level. Bound Chest is an expert level spell that will summon a magic chest at your location, meaning that you have quick, convenient storage for when you get over-encumbered. And at master level, you get Bound Crown, which gives a significant damage buff to bound weapons while active, and even creates a new ward when using the bound shield alongside it. Store Corpse is an adept level spell, which will teleport a body to a plane of oblivion. You'll then get Retrieve Corpse as a free to cast spell in order to bring the body back to Nirn. This is another convenient option for when you're over encumbered, and you need another way to move things around. And making a return from Morrowind is Summoned Winged Twilight as a master level spell, lasting for 60 seconds, wielding powerful storm magic and coming with a shriek attack. When injured in battle, she'll even summon help from her sisters. And finally, for a very valid school of magic, we have Restoration, which comes with a really good variety of spells too. Right off the bat, the novice level spells introduce a new poison damage type, and flesh out the sun damage that we saw a bit of in Dawnguard. Ray of Light casts a stream of sun damage, dealing 10 points of damage per second to undead enemies. Poison Seed lets you plant a seed to weaken the target's poison resistance, and if they're hit by another poison effect during its 30-second duration, the seed will explode for additional damage. This works with other poison spells or even with poisoned weapons. Black Swarm is our final novice spell, sending a swarm of flies at your enemies, and dealing 10 disease damage per second. As we move on to Apprentice, we get some upgraded light spells, the first of which being Sunburst Rune, dealing 50 points of sun damage when triggered by undead. Sunfire acts as a burst spell, dealing sun damage to enemies when hit. Wild Growth will create a mushroom when cast. Those who go near it are poisoned, and will take damage for the next 10 seconds. Wild Growth can be used to trigger Poison Seed's explosion, and it doesn't have a limit on how many you can plant at once. Divine Benediction is a self buff, blessing the user with faster health, stamina, and magic regen for the next minute, but seen as it's meant as a divine power, it cannot be cast if you committed murder. There are a couple later versions of the spell too, one in which you buff your armor and magic resistance, and another where you summon a guardian spirit to fight alongside you. But like Divine Benediction, these cannot be cast if you've committed murder. And as listener of the Dark Brotherhood, I wasn't able to cast them. These new restoration spells really give you a chance to play more of a paladin role. The light ones, not the poison and disease ones. And in case you wanted some more disease, Apprentice comes with Scaled Cocoon, in which you plant an ash hopper egg on a corpse, which will hatch after 20 seconds to fight alongside you. Later versions of the spell let you do this with a frostbite spider and a Chorus Reaper. Upon hatching, the infected body will turn to a pile of viscera, but it can still be looted, and you can have multiple of the cocooned creatures at once. Adept comes with Cleanse, curing all diseases and poison, with resistance to both being increased by 50% for the next 2 minutes. I really miss having a cure disease spell in Skyrim. Mind you, there's also plenty of other mods that add their own version of this by now. Wall of Light is an expert level spell. Casting it upon the ground creates a deadly wall of sun damage that will continuously burn undead as they walk through it. Poison Bolt casts a toxic orb, exploding on impact and leaving a small pool of acid behind. And finally, under Master level, we have Sun Shard, creating a small sun, capable of turning night to day and burning nearby undead. Resurrection makes you a true master of life and death, with the ability to bring a recently killed person back to life, with it even restoring their normal conversation topics and functions. They might remember that you were the one to hurt them though.
Oh, you ain't gonna hurt me again, are you?
And taking a departure from the divine spells, we have Rite of the Old Gods, lasting for a full minute, and making it so your poison and disease spells ignore any enemy's resistances. And it even expands the cocoon spells so that they can be used on any type of corpse. Like I said, there's a lot of spells in this pack. This was not all of them. And there's even a few new spells that are specific to scrolls, and serve as much rarer, more unique finds. One of these includes a scroll that can cure curses, such as lycanthropy or vampirism, and another scroll that will duplicate an item in your inventory, excluding some unique items like Daedric artifacts. One thing that Lost Grimoire does really well is providing new spells at every level, and I think you'll get the most out of this playing it on a new game, where you can more naturally experience some of the progression of these new spells. You'll get more time to experiment with them, try out different combinations, and so on. I found Restoration to be one of my favorite schools in this pack, as it had this great contrast of these more paladin-esque light spells, along with these new poison and disease ones. I like that Destruction focused on the 3 main damage types that we already knew, but aimed to flesh them out more, giving us new stealth-focused spells, with bonus damage if we're undetected. What really stood out to me was trying to fill in some of the gaps that the base game had, giving us a spell to cure disease, to unlock locks, and for night vision. There's some really cool mechanics here too, chaining together the frost crystals, the synergy of Poison Seed with other poison spells. It easily gives some more depth to a mage-focused playthrough, and gives you a lot more options. And if you're playing on survival mode, the mod comes with some new spells that only show up while it's active. These appear under Alteration, and will allow you to increase your warmth rating for a short time, with the more advanced version under Adept making you immune to freezing water for its duration. I think the pack is pretty well balanced, and I wouldn't say that the spells here are overpowered compared to the base game either. You're still gonna want to spec into the right skill trees, get the right perks, and have good enchantments if you want to get the most out of these spells. But since it's me, there are some slight tweaks that I would personally like to see, just to help balance things out a bit more. I'd like to see Silence last a little longer, maybe have it match the effect time for Exhaust. I'd maybe like it if the Earthquake Master Spell had a duration, maybe if it was 10 seconds long, and continued to throw enemies around. And I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the filter that we get with Ritual of the Old Gods, but I just don't really like filters in my games in general. So that might just be a personal preference. I think Steelfeathers did a really good job at making these spells fit in with the rest of the game. There's a lot of cool details too. Seeing the scale effect with salamander scales, watching the cocoon envelop the corpses before hatching. I loved getting to create a wall of sunfire and watching it absolutely destroy vampires as they passed through it. And for someone like me, who's playing more of a warrior character anyway, something like the Firebrand Sword is really good. If you're looking for a new spell pack with a pretty light list of requirements that aims to match the vanilla game's style a bit more, this is one you should really look at. From what I've seen, it should be compatible with any other spell mods out there, so you can use this alongside other spell packs without the need for any sort of patch. Out of the box, NPCs won't be able to use these new spells, but the author has plans to include a patch that gives them some of the new spells where it makes sense for them to know them. And yes, there might be some overlap with other spell mods out there, but the idea behind Lost Grimoire was for the author to make their ideal pack, regardless of what other mods might already be available. But that's gonna be all for today. As always, thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, check out the Patreon or the YouTube memberships. And if you'd like to watch me play something other than Skyrim, make sure to check out the streams at twitch.tv/0periodproductions. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.